Okay, I want to close with one thing. Here's a way of conceptualizing the relationship between psychopathology and illness, or between mental functioning and illness. Now, throughout your entire life, there's been things you understand and things you didn't understand. And some of those things you didn't understand hurt you. And some of them you investigated and you learned from and you made sure that they wouldn't happen again. And some of them you did nothing with. And that's the case in the past. And maybe that's the case in the present. So you can imagine back in your bedroom at home, there's 5 things you should have done that you hadn't, that you haven't. And so when you walk into that room, you get all nervous because the things that you haven't done yell at you because you haven't done them. And what they yell is, here's a bunch of negative possible worlds ready to emerge that you're ignoring. And if you ignore them, then they'll emerge. So don't pay your taxes and see what sort of world emerges. And you think, well, that's a piece of paper when you look at it. But it's not a piece of paper. It's a bunch of potential nasty worlds that are lying on your desk, and they're likely to manifest themselves unless you do something about it. And your brain is smart enough to know that, even though your eyes can't see it. And you walk into your room, you won't look at your damn desk because it's covered with crap that you won't look at. And the more your life is like that, the more stress you have. So imagine, and I think this is how it works. I think the amygdala, which tags things with fear, has access to the memory of the things you don't understand. And all it says is, something went wrong here. And maybe you have 1,000 of those things in your memory. Something went wrong here. And that's a memory that you remember that hurts you when you remember it. And then there's another part of your brain that says, here's things that happened to me that I understand. And then there's a ratio. Things you haven't dealt with to things you have dealt with. The higher the ratio, the more cortisol your hypothalamus puts out, because your brain assumes that you don't know what the hell you're doing or where you are. And because you don't know, you should be in a state of emergency preparation. And that's, if you're in that state long enough, you will be one sick pup. And it might be mentally ill, depending on whatever your propensity is, but it could just as easily be physically ill. And let's see. And I don't think that matters, and this is what the research indicates too. I don't think that matters if the unknown material is in your past, that's painful memories, or if it's in your present, that's things you know you're avoiding, or if it's in your future, which is a place you're terrified of because you don't know what to do with it. And insofar as all of that territory that you inhabit from the past to the future is unexplored and chaotic, then your brain is going to be in an emergency state and it's going to make you ill.